Lucy, when we talk about friends, friends that you've known for a long time, friends that have figured importantly in your personal and career, you have to include this gentleman sitting next to you. Would you introduce
Tops the list.
Would you introduce Gale Gordon to us?
Gary, I think he's just about the finest, one of the finest gentlemen I have ever hoped to meet. And one of the greatest performers. And one of the kindest, most caring. He's very unusual. My friend, Gale Gordon.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
You know, before we started the interview with both of you, I was watching you kibitz and carry on, and I mean, it's almost like a mirror image of what you do when you act. How much of that have you used in the shows that you've done together? Your own personal relationship?
Well, I think it comes through just as you...
I hadn't thought of it before, but I'm sure it does, yeah.
Because we do enjoy working together so much that we break each other up, rehearsing and everything else, even though we're working very hard to memorize lines or do whatever it is that's supposed to be done. We have fun doing it. And something strikes us funny, and boom, away we go, but always come back to it. In other words, we enjoy work. Work, I think, is the wrong word. We play, but very seriously at times so that it comes over as it should. But while we're doing it, I never think of working with Lucy. I always think of having fun and playing at working.
Uh-oh.
What were Ted and Margot fighting about?
Us.
Lucille, can't you watch what you're doing?
Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm upset, and we've got bigger problems than this silly apron.
Oh, well, why should Ted and Margot fight about us?
Because according to them, we're spoiling our grandchildren.
Nonsense. Oh, you maybe, but not me.
Both of us. We keep buying them presents, and you know what we're really doing? We're competing for the children's love.
Uh-oh. You've been watching Phil Donahue again.
Is there an element of security in having people like Gale work with you?
I think, well, Gale was the only one, really, that I was rather insistent about. I didn't want to do it without him. If Vivian would still be with us, it would be Vivian and Gale, you know? But I wouldn't want to have even started without Gale.
You mentioned Vivian.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider doing another show with, because I'm assuming that Lucy is going to go on forever. That's what we're all assuming and hoping. Would you ever consider doing another show with a woman?
No, sir.
Why not?
She was the best. No, I can think of working with Gale, but not the other way around. And I just can't imagine it.
When you hear Lucy talk about Vivian and the times they shared, or when she talks about Gale, you know that she's talking about friendship. In the foreword to a book called Loving Lucy, Gale Gordon wrote the words that say it best.
Mainly, dear heart, my thanks for letting me participate in a very small way in concocting the world's most needed tonic, laughter, the miracle drug. It's good for what ails you, it has no injurious after effects, and it is well nigh impossible to take an overdose. The world loves you, dear physician. You have soothed our aches and pains, you have lightened our burdens, and made our lives a little brighter. And you have given television an added dimension by using it as a vehicle for making house calls. Bless you.
Oh! Tomorrow we'll continue our visit with Lucy Ball, and we'll hear just how much it means to her to be back. Lucille Ball, she's back, and this time in a series called Life with Lucy. Today we continue our three-part series with Lucy, a face that's been seen by more people than the face of any other human being that ever lived. And boy, what a face.
You were aware that someone had once said that that face has been seen by more people than any other face in recorded history?
I'm in good company. Jesus Christ.
I thought of that too when I read that. I must say before we go any further, the reason that we're in here, we thought it'd be kind of nice to change the mood of the piece. And you had reservations, obviously, about doing an interview in a hardware store, but
It's a little cutting.
You just finished doing tonight's episode.
Yes.
And you've got a week down, time to rest, recoup. I must ask you, what's it like to be back in the grind?
Great fun. Really fun. I'm having fun again. I missed it terribly. I missed my arena. I missed doing things in front of an audience.
Now, on our part, we needed Lucy. We missed her. On
Thank
your
you.
part, as you said,
I missed her
you
too.
were bored. You
I
missed
missed
it.
Lucy.
Yeah.
I missed doing Lucy.
Why is Lucy so important to you?
Well, she has a good time, and she does a lot of things that are fun, and gets out of the house, and she accomplishes a lot, I think, by making other people get their minds off their daily whatevers.
Well, good morning, Agnes. Oh, 2 new leaves. Oh, congratulations, you little darling. Oh. So, what's with you, Melvin? I have been sweet-talking you for months, and you have not grown an inch. What's with these dead, dying leaves? What is this? Look, I don't like doing this, but... Now listen up, snail bait. The free ride is over. You either get growing or get going. I'm sorry you had to hear that, Agnes.
I want to go back to when you first got to Hollywood and read a quote. I was very appreciative of the studio system because I couldn't dance, I couldn't sing, I could talk, I could barely walk, I had no flair. I certainly wasn't a beauty, that's for sure. Now, a lot of people would disagree with you. That's the way you felt.
A lot of people wouldn't even know me then.
No, but is that the way you felt?
Indeed, I wouldn't have said it. Yeah, I had been crippled with rheumatic arthritis, so I was just getting my legs back in shape so that I could walk and get off crutches and 20-pound weights in each foot and all that. And very happy that I could stand upright. But I couldn't sing, I couldn't dance, I hadn't had any experience. I had never been in show business. I was a model in New York, and I was enthralled to just be a part of show biz and get a chance to come out here. It was for 6 weeks, and that was in 33, and I've never been out of work since. So that is not coming up the hard way, is it?
Were you comfortable or uncomfortable with the glamour aspect of the business?
Very uncomfortable.
Where did the comedy come from? Where did you suddenly realize that you were funny?
I had done what they call drop gag types. Evard and I sort of vied for that sort of type. But whom I really wanted to be like was, pardon me, Ann Sothern. In fact, my career was built on what Ann Sothern didn't have time to do. Really.
And as far as your comedic talents, it must have been the I Love Lucy show that really solidified that for you.
In television, yes. That's where I found a chance to be typed. I knew that was what I wanted. Instinctively, I knew it. Long before television, I wanted to play the same type of, which other people always said, I just don't want to be typed. I want to do something. I want to, spread my wings and fly and have plenty of different types of things. I didn't. I wanted to be typed. I didn't know quite which type I wanted to be. But when I got into television, I found it.
You found it.
He sure did. He found it. Tomorrow, when we conclude our visit with Lucy, we'll hear Lucy talk about Lucy as a wife and a mother. And we conclude our series with Lucille Ball, a wonderful comedian who's given us moments like this for 35 years.
One day, the prince took a walk in the forest, and the witch said to herself, I'll teach that king a lesson. I'll turn the prince into a frog. And the prince said, oh, hello. You must be the Wicked Witch. And the witch said, you got it, Buster. Sniggly, sniggly, snaggly, snog. I'm turning you into a frog. And the prince said, just a moment. You can't just turn anybody into a ribbit, 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 ribbit.
Wonderful moments Lucy has given us. She, too, has had a lot of wonderful moments to remember. I asked her what becoming a mother for the first time brought to her life that wasn't there before. Here's her answer.
Diapers. Bottles, caravans of clothes.
Yeah.
And cuddly little animals and sleeping paraphernalia and cribs and all kinds of water wings and things that you drag along, even if you're going to this just down to Palm Springs for 2 days. It was a caravan always, and all the dogs and all the people and everything. I loved it. I loved it. I had a wonderful time when the children were young, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I waited a long time.
I was surprised at that. You were, what, 39?
Why were you surprised?
I don't know. I guess because
I lost two,
You
and
think
then I
of
had
Lucy as timeless, and you don't put a...
Well, I do, too. I'll leave it that way.
And you don't put an age
that's
on
one of the
that.
reasons that I don't think of there are only a couple of dates that I can remember, and that's when my children were born, and when Gary and I got married, and when I was first married, and I had my children so late in life, it kept me 20 years younger, and I'm grateful for that.
Even though they're grown, and Lucy has a family, and Desi, does he have? He has
no children.
No children yet.
He was married once for about 20 minutes, but
Do they still come to you for advice in any way?
strange. Just now beginning to.
In what sense?
Well, Lucy with the children, and as they grow older, they decide that you have a little sense, and they do ask, how would you handle this, and what do you think? And up to then, they're so busy showing you that they can do it, which I can appreciate. But I'm glad that they come back now and want to talk and discuss and rearrange.
You mentioned Gary, and you mentioned him a couple of times. It's Gary Morton, your husband, and he's one of the dates you remember. When was that? When were you married?
November 19th, 61.
He's been good for you.
Wonderful.
He's now producing the show.
He has been for years. He's
But I
had the
noticed you
company.
two working together, and he's very careful and very
protective.
very attentive and protective.
Yes. He has our best interests at heart, always.
Your career is so involved with comedy and humor, and Gary, prior to being a producer, was a wonderful comedian. He still is, as a matter of fact.
He's a funny man, too.
How much humor is in your life? And
He's
that's
he's
is that
funny.
an important
I'm
ingredient?
not a funny person. I don't think funny. He thinks funny, and I laugh at him a lot. But we do have a lot of laughs at home. I must say that we have our share of humor at home. He's helped me a great deal to be able to laugh through the years.
He's happy to be back? He's happy for you to be back to work?
Yes. The whole idea of being back and someone caring about my being back is very important. I got some bad notices, but I've had bad notices before. But I think I have fans out there that in the next few weeks will prove that, or they have, perhaps by the time this is shown, that they care. And I just want them to know that I care.
Lucy, thank you for allowing us to come into the hardware store and spend
Anytime.
this time with you. It's a joy.
Thank you, Gary.
And good luck, continued success with the show.
Thank you, dear. The same with you.